we start dating, and like I still don't get into weed, but like my friend comes back from LA, right? And he's like, "Where is the weed at?" Right? He's like, "Dude, where's the weed at?" Right? That's not the best impression. He's like, "Dude, where's the weed?" Excuse me. He's like, "Dude, where's the weed at, dude?" Right? And I'm like, "My friend, I know exactly where the weed is at, because at this point, the video store that I used to work at, which is where I met my girlfriend at the time, was run by potheads, right? And like their dealer would come in all the time, and like, you know, they'd get stoned, they'd work stoned. Maybe, I don't know if they would work stoned, but like, fucking flies, get lost elsewhere. Okay, that's fine. If you're just gonna chill there, you know, like chill. Otherwise, get lost. I'm trying to access this fly's terminal to tell it not to exist in this area for the time being. Well, I'm gonna check the lighting. Hold on a second. Hey, I'm gonna grab my camera bag. Like, my camera bag is right down there. I'll be back in like 10 seconds. Hi. Woo. All right, so like so I start like buying weed for my friends. This is good. So like I go to my girlfriend and I'm like, "Yeah, my friend needs weed." And she's like, "Talk to this guy, right? Talk to this guy at Rocky's, right? Rocky's is where I used to work as a manager at the video store." So like I walk into Rocky's and I find the guy, and I'm like, "Yeah, I need to buy some weed for a friend, right?" And he's like, "All I got is KB." And I'm like, "Okay, whatever. Is that good or bad?" And he's like, "Well, it's 60 an ounce." Or he's like, "It's 60 an eighth, right?" And I'm like, $60? And he's like, "Yes." So I'm like, "Sure, all right, here's $60, right?" So he gives me this like bag of like mint, right? It's like, it's weed, but it looks like fluffy mint, right? And so I'm like, "Okay, this is interesting," right? And he's like, "Yeah, it looks different than what you'd expect," right? And I'm like, "Yes." And he knew that what I'd expect was like pencil shavings, right? Because that's what weed looked like to me before, right? And so I get this, and it's like, you know, fluffy buds, right? And I'm like, "Oh, nice," right? So like I meet my friend that night, and he's like, "Yeah, did you get that weed?" And I'm like, "Yes, check it out." And he's like, "Ah, nice," right? And so like so I'm like, "Yeah, it's $60," and he's like, so I'm like, "Yeah, it's $60," and he's like, "Yo, I only have 20, right?" And so like I size it out by eye, and I give him $20 worth, and he smokes it, and I watch him get high, and he's just like, "Yeah, what's up, you know, whatever," right? And I'm like, "Okay, whatever, he's high." Also, at this time, I was in a band with 3 other gentlemen, and 2 of those gentlemen smoked weed, right? So I bring the bag into band practice, and I'm like, "Hey guys, do you want to buy this? Because my friend didn't want it, right?" And they're like, "Yes, where did you get this, right?" They're like, "Amazing, where did you get this?" And I'm like, I got this from this guy I know at Rocky's, right?" And like I understood that like the 2 guys I was in a band with had no connections. They did not know anyone who could provide them with the best marijuana available, right? They could probably get like crappy dime bags of trash from the one person they knew. Spirit, don't mind my little like you can kind of like almost feel the assholes like trying to like go, crappy dime bag equals like, very poor black drug dealer, and I'm like, get lost, right? Anyway, so through the process of like buying drugs for my friends and like talking to the drug dealers and watching my drug dealer friends try to grow marijuana, I decided to write my screenplay about a marijuana bagman who drops off the weed to the drug dealers that he gets from his friend, who is a marijuana broker, and then picks up the money a week later after they sell it all. So I write this screenplay and it's excellent. I still want to produce it. It's called Low Life. It's registered at the WGA West. So don't try to steal my ideas, motherfuckers. All right. Excuse me. The film budgets out to well beyond what I'm capable of producing. Like, I'm going to shoot it on Super 16, but that still means it's going to cost about $60,000 at least, right? At least. So I sent out a few copies to Michael Mann, Art Linson, Steven Soderbergh at Section 8, and then maybe like Francis Ford Coppola also, right? So I send out 4 copies of my screenplay. I call each of these production companies, and they all tell me the same thing. All right, ready, everyone? No unsolicited screenplays, right? We do not accept any unsolicited screenplays, right? I'm like, no, but it's actually really good. I know what's good, and my screenplay is good. And they're like, I'm sorry, we just can't, right? And I'm like, how do I call these fucking people to let them know that I have like something that adds to the catalog, right? It's like a lot of people are cranking out like rehashes of other shit, but my shit adds to the catalog, boom, there's no movie out there. There's no movie out there about a straight edge guy who becomes a right-hand man to his friend who's a marijuana broker, and then gets stoned for the first time and experiences, what it is to smoke marijuana and be in control of your life, right? He falls into a life of crime. He's really a filmmaker. He's a total poser at the beginning. He just pretends to be a hitman because he looks Amerasian, These are the wrong sunglasses, but the principle is that I'm an Amerasian filmmaker, who grew up white in suburban America, and I'm like undercover minority, and then also undercover white person, right? Like I'm around black friends, and they're like, yeah, there's this guy, and like this, and then they'll turn to me and be like, my bad, no, that's cool, you're cool, all right, you're not completely white, and I'm like, thank you, okay, whatever, it's acceptable. And then I'll be around my white friends, and they'll be like, hey, look at if somebody who looks a little bit more Asian than I do will walk by, and they'll be like, woohoo, Jackie Chan, wah, and I'll be like, no, that's not just uncool, that's just fucking retarded, Go back to fucking preschool. That's all right when you're a little kid and don't know any better, but if you're some 20-year-old, we'll say 22-year-old chick, trying to it's all right, it's not all right actually. Anyway, I just got off on a little tangent there. But I send it out, I send the screenplay out, nobody wants it because it's unsolicited. I fly out to California, and who do I meet? I meet the brother of Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Dan Levitt, right? And Dan Levitt's really cool, but I'm not trying to shove a screenplay in his face and say, tell your brother to read this because it's amazing, right? Because it goes against protocol, right? Fucking protocol. Anyway, so I come back to Wheaton, Maryland, where I reside right now, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna have to write a screenplay, or I'm gonna write a screenplay that I can produce for nothing. And I start writing the screenplay that I call Sleight of Hand, and it's about how I used to be a shoplifter.